All right, guys, welcome back on to the call. This weekend, we're going to be interviewing fans from Arkansas and Florida. From Arkansas, we have Nathan Lee living in Little Rock and living in Jacksonville. Back on the podcast for the third or fourth time, we have Scott. Scott, Nathan, how y'all doing?
Thanks. Doing good, man. Happy to be here.
Thanks for coming on.
Always a pleasure to be back.
Especially with
that was pretty low key, Scott. I was expecting a little bit more, pumped up energy.
I gotta build up to it.
You're right.
All right. Well, so these are two teams that don't play much. I looked it up before. Only 11 meetings in the history of the two teams. So, you guys don't draw each other very often. So kind of a fun question this year that's kind of like a little different is Arkansas super pesky. Florida's a juggernaut, it looks like. So we'll start with Nathan. Nathan, are you afraid of Florida?
No, I think we're in the good spot here because it's like, what do we have to lose? We've been terrible for almost a decade now. I as an Arkansas fan was like, hey, after years of, tumultuous seasons, if that, I wasn't expecting a win this season. So, and now we're 500. We're going up against Florida. It's like, what do we have to lose?
That's a envious spot to be in sometimes, I guess. Maybe not.
Yeah. I wouldn't want. Yeah. Well, after being bad for so long, it would be nice coming off. You wouldn't want to be here after the national championship season, like you're saying. But after coming to the Chad Morris years, we only have one way to go, and that's up. I feel like so.
I'm not really sure what you're talking about, national championship, but we'll move past that. Scott, are you afraid of Arkansas? Tuscaloosa, Arkansas.
I'm pretty consistently afraid of everyone. Again, because of the defense, because of my passion in something that I have no effect or nothing to do with. It's just my happiness depends on this every Saturday. And when it's taken away from me, especially, God forbid, from a shitty quarterback that we used to have, that would hurt a lot. So I'm not worried about Arkansas from a football perspective as much as I am from a mental health perspective if something goes wrong. With Todd Grantham still somehow on the fucking sidelines after going down 14-0 last week and not being fired immediately, but somehow still pulling it out. Yeah, I'm a little concerned. I think anything could happen. It's a weird year.
I thought 2020 was a normal year. What are you talking about?
Listen, it's Florida beat Georgia and LSU's 2-3. This ain't no normal year.
Well,
you're right about that.
To kind of speak to that, if there's any coach in the SEC who could capitalize in an odd year, I think Sam Pittman might be it. My money would have been on Mike Leach to start the year, but Sam Pittman for sure is taking the reins there.
I don't even know if Mike Leach is still alive in Starksville, so we'll just go with Sam Pittman. Whatever.
He's around somewhere.
Yeah,
well, Sam Pittman's going to be a little preoccupied this weekend, anyways. Though.
He's not going to be coaching this week.
Getting the Coco thing, so that's another tick in our box of things that I don't have to worry about as much.
Yeah. So, Scott, so after winning this past weekend, getting over that Georgia hump, breaking that 3-game losing streak, Florida's now obviously favored to win the SEC East. Do you think that y'all are going to actually get there and finish the season in Atlanta, or how far do you think you guys can make it?
It's a long year playing an only SEC schedule. I know from personal experience, it's tough to go, the whole time and really make sure that everyone's satisfied walking out. Granted, there are things that can help. Both parties, all parties that are there, really make sure that, it's a thing to remember and it's something that'll get done. But at the same time, there's road bumps along the way.
Is this a trap game?
I don't know if Arkansas is a trap game just because we don't play Arkansas enough. So how there's always teams that have someone's numbers. Like Syracuse has Clemson's number. NC State, when Florida State was relevant, thank God they're not anymore. they would always have their number. Every fucking year they'd play them hard. I feel like that's Kentucky with us. Whereas like Arkansas, I have no idea what's happening. Like there's a new coach every 20 minutes, whether he's on a motorcycle fucking an intern or he's just shitty at his job. It's tough to keep up with the Razorbacks. They're very far west. But yeah, this year, I mean, like they said, they weren't supposed to lose a game. We're coming off a very emotional win. We're coming off beating the shit out of the fuck asses that are Georgia. So I think it has everything meant to be a trap game. Also, fun fact, Arkansas is 6-0 against the spread. I think it's 17 or 17.5 points this week. If I were a betting man, not a Gator fan, I'd be taking Arkansas with the points for sure. Because I think they're a halfway decent squad.
Yeah, for sure. Nate, kind of piggybacking off of that and piggybacking off a little bit about what you talked about earlier with y'all are playing like you got nothing to lose. Arkansas was predicted to basically go winless this year. Now it's looking like they have a very real shot to be 500 or better. This season, what do you think is the ceiling now at this point in the year? You're past the halfway point. What's the ceiling look like?
I was looking ahead in the schedule earlier, and to me, a big win if we came on at a 6-win season. Obviously uphill battle this week with Florida. But Missouri maybe still went away from LSU. Get the boot back in Arkansas. I know you wouldn't like to see that, but if we could do that, that would be I think that'd be a big win for Hogs fans. What'd you say?
I said the boot's been gone for a while. Do you think y'all actually celebrate winning the boot, or are y'all going to ignore it like LSU did last year?
Yeah, well, give us something to celebrate. And and to the Natty comment I was saying, if I was an LSU fan, what I'm saying, coming off the Natty, then I wouldn't be excited about the Hog season. But coming from where we're coming from, it's a little nicer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And how far do you think Sam Pittman and this staff can get Arkansas? I mean, there are limitations. Arkansas is not really a hotbed of a recruiting state, so they got to dip into Texas. They got to go outside of the state of Arkansas. But Sam Pittman has proven that he's really good at recruiting. He's really good at allowing his staff to do their thing. How far can this staff really get a team like Arkansas with their limitations?
Yeah, and that's always going to be the problem with a school like Arkansas. We're not a Florida, Texas, California. There's in Louisiana even, you got a lot of talent coming out there most years. It'll always be a recruitment issue getting people to Fayetteville, Arkansas. But that's why I think that Pittman was such a great hire by Yurachek and that athletic director at the University of Arkansas. It seems like if anybody could do it, maybe it would be Pittman. He's been an SEC guy, Power 5 conference guy for a long time, known for his recruiting. So, I mean, he's got a bunch of Chad Morris guys in there now. I mean, I think we won't really know until maybe next year, season after that, he starts getting his own players in there. But, I mean, I think for Hogs fans, it's exciting because, even at Petrino, last time we were good, he would do, pretty well with usually the bottom tier of SEC recruiting every year. We'd be right there with Kentucky, Missouri, teams like that. Or back then, Missouri wasn't in there in the conference, but we'd be 30th or so, as opposed to a Florida or an LSU that's always top 5. I feel like so. I think we're excited to have Pittman.
Yeah. Picking right up where you left off, talking about recruiting and someone who's broken Clay and I's heart as a recruit. What are your thoughts on Felipe Franks as a quarterback for y'all?
My thoughts on Felipe, and I'm not sure. I know, earlier in the season, I was talking to my dad about this guy, and he was saying there was some drama, coming out of Florida. I'm sure Scott can talk to all that. I don't know the whole story on that, but for me, the Razorbacks the last 10 years or so, it seems like they played with sub-caliber SEC talent at the quarterback position. And so with Felipe, at least it's a guy that would be highly recruited, a type of guy who I feel like would make most SEC rosters. He's got a good enough arm, can make plays happen with his legs. I don't think he always makes the best decisions, but at least he can make the throws. He can make the plays. He is a playmaker for us at the quarterback position, where we've just had very mayonnaise type guys for the last 5-10 years, it seems.
Can you define a mayonnaise type guy?
Ryan Mallett.
Just the state of Arkansas.
Oh, come on. It would be like if you started like 11 guys like me. That'd be a very mayonnaise team out there, you know.
Okay.
Ryan Mallett, he would be the opposite of mayonnaise. That's it. That's a good way to put it.
All right, Scott.
All right.
I'm expecting almost an opposite answer from you. What do you
Yeah,
think?
Scott, the whole time he was talking, you're just shaking your head like, fuck no. Nope.
So you guys know in the Wizard of Oz, whenever they kill the Wicked Witch of the West, and the little minions come out and they sing, "Hi ho, the witch is dead, the witch is dead." I never want to wish injury on a man, but if you didn't think that I ran around like a little fucking munchkin, proclaiming that Felipe Franks was now gone out of my life forever when that tragic injury, I feel bad for him. But it worked out to my advantage. You would be kidding yourself, because Felipe Franks, he's a great locker room presence. I forget if it was HBO or who did it, but you know, they hung out with the Gators for like a week when, I think right after Felipe got injured, as a matter of fact. And you know, he was touted as this great locker room guy, a good leader. That's all well and good. He's got a killer arm. I owe him for the rest of my life for Mick Hubert's. My favorite Mick Hubert call is when we beat Tennessee. I think 2017 was it? When with just the Hail Mary end zone pass, and then it was bedlam all over again. So I owe Felipe Franks for that. But as far as the Florida Gators are concerned, I'm very glad that he's no longer the quarterback. He like you said, he doesn't make good decisions on the field. He's got just an absolute cannon of an arm, and he can throw it 1,000,000 yards. But his accuracy isn't there. His decision-making isn't there. And frankly, the best thing that's happened to the program in, 10 years was him actually having to no longer be the quarterback of the Florida Gators.
Having the lower half of his leg completely dismembered.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't think he was ever going to come back. I feel like he got Alex Smith. And he came back, so kudos to him, hats off to him. The drama stuff coming out of UF, it's there's a couple of different things about it. I think there was some coach stuff and some girlfriend stuff, and it was this whole just amalgam of different unfortunate events that happened to him. But, happy he found himself in Fayetteville and he's playing again, and even happier that he's not playing for the Gators.
Wait, I didn't know that deal about there was some girlfriend drama when he left Florida, because there was some girlfriend drama when he decommitted from LSU and committed to Florida. It was like his girlfriend didn't want to go to LSU or something.
So as we can see patterns,
yeah.
Generally when there are flags, whether they be red, in this case red, or yellow, they tend to tell a tale. And I would argue that we could have seen that coming from a mile away.
Where there is smoke, there's often fire.
Indeed.
Well, Scott, it all worked out because y'all traded a guy named Felipe for a guy named Kyle, which is like the most Florida Gator name for a quarterback of all time. So it worked out well for you guys. And Kyle Trask is actually pretty good at playing quarterback, I guess. So
to steal a phrase from Nathan, I would say the name Kyle Trask might, on paper be a mayonnaise quarterback name.
Ooh, good point. Great point.
Well, it's a layup for all kinds of jokes, all types of garbage jokes. Just, it's a layup. Perfect for dad puns.
Mountain Dew and mayonnaise. That's what Arkansas does best.
Yeah, a Mayo quarterback is a Mountain Dew quarterback if he plays for Florida.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. Ours just has caffeine.
Yeah. All right. Well, so Scott's been on the podcast before, so he knows how we like to end things. Nate, you're new to the show, so you're not too familiar with this. There's not a lot of history here, like Chris said. There's only been 11 matchups of these two schools, so there's not a lot of bad blood. But I'm going to start with Nate. Nate, I want you to say something nice about the Florida Gators before we before we end this call.
Something nice about the Florida Gators?
Say something nice.
I don't know.
No comment. Okay.
Thanks for Gatorade, maybe, or I like their jerseys, good sharp looking jerseys.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
I can get
Scott?
on the Gatorade train. There's so many good Gatorade flavors.
There are a lot of good Gatorade flavors. Great hangover cure. Thank you
Phenomenal.
for your service down in Gainesville.
The original hangover cure. You're welcome.
Yeah. All right, Scott, let's hear from you. Let's say something nice about the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Arkansas is great. In every good war movie, there's always like the guy that's like a super religious pastor that you really get attached to, like in Saving Private Ryan or some shit. You really get attached to him and you grow to love him and to know him. And then a sniper takes him out, but you remember him at the end of the day because of how courageous he was, even though he ended up losing. And sometimes you need a pastor in your friend group. And that's what we need in the SEC is the Arkansas of the world to remind us that we should be thankful for what we have, but be very glad that we're not dead.
Clay, can I say something to that?
Yeah, go ahead. Come on.
Coming onto this pod. So I travel a lot for work, or in class. Just I go all for a good old Arkansan from Southeast Arkansas. I feel like I've been around a little bit, and I think that Arkansas is like maybe top 5 most forgotten state in all of America, and probably if not number 1, and probably up there with Missouri, top most forgotten SEC school. And my theory on that is, that we were in the Southwestern Conference until like 92. So we're not an OG SEC school.
Yeah.
I don't, maybe not, but like for the whole 20th century, we were Southwestern Conference school. And, but yeah, I don't know, we get, we're like the forgotten SEC team, I feel like, but maybe the answer to that is winning, one might say, but we'll see.
I got to tell on myself a little bit and agree with you. And okay, so I've lived in Texas my whole life. I went to school in Baton Rouge, or I went to LSU. So like I've lived adjacent to Arkansas every year I've been alive. I couldn't find it on a map until I was at least 20.
Basically, until you saw the boot trophy, and you're like,
that's why they did that.
It's
It's a map. It's a map.
That's the other thing that's offensive. You'll go somewhere, you'll be in New York, you'll see like an LSU fan walk by and you'll be like, "Hey, Woo Pig," just messing with them, and they'll be like, "What's that, guy?" You know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
Well,
we're in the SEC. We're rivals. You know what I mean? It's like, are you an Alabama fan? And it's like, come on. Yeah.
Well, Nate. So before we started this podcast, we did some intro episodes at the very beginning. We were talking about Arkansas, and we compared Arkansas to Siberia, Russia. We don't really know what happens up there. We don't really care to know what happens up there. It's just there, and we let them do their thing. And they have weird chants like Woo Pig Suey, whatever the fuck that means.
All right.
But hey, we've all got your cowbell, the Gator Chomp, whatever. He hates the Aggies, all their craziness. 12th fan.
The Aggies are less SEC than Arkansas, though, so it's okay.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
See, Missouri. I feel like Missouri is the biggest like redheaded stepchild. Like Missouri coming to the SEC was the best thing that ever happened for Arkansas because they were no longer the redheaded stepchild. And then like with A&M, it's just like, you guys shouldn't even be here, but you got the money, so that's why you are. Like they're like the rich friend that you just let in.
We'll take you guys. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like this everywhere in the SEC, but it's funny that that's the conception because Arkansas is filled with people that have never went to college but would send their last paycheck to the university, athletic program, and, and I'm a part of that, so I get to say that, but yeah, just no professional team, just diehard Razorback fans everywhere.
Hey, that's why we started the podcast, with all the diehard fans of the conference. That's what it's all about.
There you go, man.
Hey, this was a lot of fun, guys. Thanks for your time. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Hey, always a pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me again.